Hello, welcome back to my garden. Today, I'm finally going to deal with this thing. This is my pampas grass. The pampas grass, I'm trying to remember, I planted this because I thought it would be neat. And it is neat, but I haven't done anything with it in at least 3 years, maybe 4 years. And as you can see, it's quite tall. Now, the height doesn't bother me. The only concern I have is that if I continue to leave this in the ground as is, it's gonna start getting dead in the center and spreading out. And I've been told that there are examples of this in my local area, that 10 foot wide, but 5 feet dead in the center. So before we get to that point, I'm going to cut this down, reduce it, and then I'm going to divide it. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it after I divide it, but I have a few ideas. So let me get some gloves and some string, and I'll show you what we're going to do. So here I have a spool of paracord. It's a parachute cord. I bought this spool for pretty cheap on one of those military Army Navy stores things years ago. And I use paracord for various different projects at various different times. It's nylon cord and it's very durable and strong. And I'm going to attempt to wrap it around this thing to pull it tight, and then I'm going to try to cut it down with a hedge trimmer, I think. The more I stare at this, the more I wonder, should I just forego the string? Just delve right into it with a hedge trimmer? See, I've never done this before. The last time I tackled this, I just did it with a hedge trimmer, I believe. Actually, I probably did it with hand shears. Pruners. Shears. You guys know what I'm talking about. These things. I'm going to try to go at this with the hedge trimmers first and see what happens. Yeah, I'm going to forego the string. We're just going to use this. So let me get cracking. You know, I've heard about people going at these things with chainsaws. If you've ever cut down pampas grass before or something similar, please leave those comments below. Let me know your experiences. This is worse than the last time I did it, and it's probably because I let it go for, again, 3 to 4 years. Maybe longer. No, about 3 to 4 years. So, I'm just going to keep on working on this. Cleanup on this is going to be a nightmare. I've already made 2 or 3 runs over to where I'm dumping all the grass, and I've been working on this for a while with the hedge trimmer, but I thought I'd come in here and start maybe trying to actually pull out some of these thicker stems, and they're actually coming out pretty easily. And I think by me removing these thicker stems, and Sophie can go chase one, it's going to make continuing to cut this down a little easier. Ooh, I'm actually just pulling some of this grass right out. There is some new growth coming up out of this, which is great, but I'm not worried about harming the plant because it's a grass. I'm just going to keep pulling, thin this out as much as I can, and then get back in there and take it down the rest of the way with the hedge trimmer. And then we will try to divide this.
One eternity later.
I've got it down almost where I want it. This side seems to be much denser than that side. I don't know if you guys can see this, but this is the middle, or what it would have been the middle, and it's pretty rotted. I think after I get done with today's project, I'm not going to touch this grass again for another 5 to 6 years, at least. And then maybe I'll hire somebody to do something with it. So I think I'm going to get a shovel and I'm going to start trying to dig this up. don't know if you can tell from this video insert here, but as the center is dying, it's composting and creating compost in the center, essentially, of the plant. Roots, of course, from that grow up and into it. Yeah, the grass was very happy until I did this to it today. I have one clump off to the side, which I've sized to the size I think I'd wish to have it. This is another clump, and you can see here, the interior growth here is dead. I'm not going to worry too much about it. I'm going to probably bury it basically where it is here, and this too will grow into another clump. In the very center of the clump, let's see if I can find that piece here I wanted to show you guys. There was this. This is just a mass of roots and stems and rotting stems and more roots. It's absolutely amazing. It has cost me a pair of gloves because, if you didn't know, pampas grass is very sharp on the edges. So on one fingertip I've gone through, on a knuckle I've gone through. So these gloves are Kaputski. I think I got a paper cut on my finger, or should I say a grass cut. It's getting dark. I'm tired and I have a lot of cleanup to do here, plus bury those other pieces. So as you can see, I never got to actually dig up the entire clump of pampas grass here, and it was just killing me. It was so dense and so strong and tough, and I just couldn't. But I did manage to get a couple of small clumps divided off of it. One is right here and another one is right there. As you can see, they are next to a couple of small seedlings that I planted last year. And I don't know if those seedlings are, I see no new growth on them, so they might actually be dead, just sort of hanging out there. So now these new clumps, if they are dead, those new clumps will take their place. If they're still alive, well, they'll have two clumps fighting one another, and that's okay, as long as they're not fighting me. The rest of this clump is actually going to stay as is. I'm not going to try to continue to dig it up, and it should start bouncing back. I already see some new green growth on it, and it should start bouncing back here in the next few weeks as the weather gets warmer, because we are getting into spring. I'm not sure if you guys can see. I think it is in shot. I think I lined up the camera correctly, but Royal Star Magnolia over there blooming. It looks quite nice, and it smells pretty nice too. For those few of you who do remember, this used to be the crater. There was an old tree stump right over here, as you can see, and I had dug out a bunch, and then my whole idea was to make a damp or wet garden here, and well, plans change. Things happen. So there was a big mound here, and that was a lot of the dirt that came out from that section. So I just pushed a lot of that dirt back recently and filled in the area, and I'm just going to let this area go back to grass. If these clumps all survive and they all start thriving again, the grass will turn around and cover up this stump, and it'll cover up this area. And so I'll have these three, and they'll just get huge and massive, and they'll blot out a lot of my gardening sins. So that'll be fun. It'll be this massive, massive clump, probably in a couple of years, 2 to 3 years maybe, of pampas with all of its tall blowing seeds, which is going to be pretty wild. I think so, at least. If these three don't make it, again, the area will change. I'll come up with something else will happen. It may all just go back to grass. But I'm not going to try to continue to dig this guy up because it literally kicked my butt yesterday. I was very sore, very tired, and yeah. So I'm going to ignore this for the rest of the year. I'm going to move on. I've reduced its size. I've cut it back in height, so now everything should grow up at basically the same speed. The monster won. And as I stated yesterday, I think if I ever do this again, I will probably hire somebody or get somebody younger to dig this up. Pampas grass is something that's definitely not going into the grass borders garden that I eventually hope to plan to build. I'm gonna try to get portion of it done this year. I have a couple of things in progress to help with the grass borders development. So that will be starting this year. It probably won't be finished for another 2 to 3 years after that, but I'll get a start on it this year. So that's something to look forward to. One of the grasses that I've heard quite a few people leave comments on is the pink muhi, is it M-U-H-Y? You guys know what I'm talking about. It might look like something like this. That might be a grass that I plant in the grass borders garden. I'm not 100% sure yet. I do like the look of it. I do like the color and all, but I'm not 100% sure on the grasses that I will be selecting. I'd like 2 to 3 different types of grasses in the borders. But again, that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. This is the project I tackled yesterday, and I hope that all of these survive and thrive. And again, they grow into this massive island of pampas grass. That would be fun and interesting and different. If you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them below. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Click that bell icon to be notified when I do post up a new video, and maybe it'll be something a little more successful than this project. And there's a new project I'm going to be working on soon for the back deck, and hopefully it'll be a very simple how-to that many of you will be able to follow along on. And of course, with the upcoming last freeze, there'll be, which I think we've already had, but I'm like 60-40 on this. I'm 60% confident we've had our last freeze, 40%. 40%, there's still a chance that we'll get another freeze. Our last freeze date is supposed to be around April 1st, so we'll have to wait and see. But hopefully in the next few weeks, we'll be planting stuff out. I'm gonna try to get peas in the ground this weekend, and I've already got some radishes, which hopefully I'll be showing you guys maybe next week once they start popping up. We will have to wait and see. So, with all that being said, I'm gonna catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.